speaking of giving it to someone, I think June is going to beat the brakes off of Malachi.
I don't think that.
I absolutely
Simply to be a contrarian.
Okay. I will put it 5-1.
5-1?
If you'd like to bet.
What makes you so confident in Junebug's ability to beat Malachi?
Well, I don't want to give you information that'll affect your willingness to bet. Are you down?
Well, I don't think that you're allowed to bet via the TOS, right?
I do that. Okay. Oh, this is. Ooh, yeah. Okay. Well, someone should have told me and June that like years ago.
It's okay.
Anyway,
we all know it's like Monopoly money. It's metaphorical.
That's right. So the last time that Junebug was at Xanadu, the Xanadu venue was for M Series, the Baltimore Melee Monthly, and June did really well there.
As
June
usual.
beat Polish.
Oh, Polish is a very good peach.
Yes, Polish is probably the second best peach at all in the world.
You mean ever or right now?
Right now.
Right now? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Polish really good.
But if you ask me, I think they're number one in the world soon.
Number one in my heart.
Aw. Yes. So Junebug, I think Junebug.
Good at the matchup.
Good at the matchup.
Can you
beats Mom? Has beaten Mom?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know if you could tell me, but how does? I understand that Junebug was able to defeat Polish, but do you know like any of the? Do you have any
Specific
insider knowledge,
interactions?
like what the sort of like move choices were, what the big idea was?
Not really.
And
I was playing while they were playing.
Sure.
But it's a lot of flow start executions. Junebug got a fair amount of grabs, but I mean, like. He's playing very similarly towards a lot of the cast. It's back air to build damage. It's grabs when you can. He was crouch grabbing a lot less than versus another type of character, which I think makes sense. You know, it's less effective because of Peach, right? Yeah. But for the most part, June's great strength in the DK is his consistency in execution, and also the fact that DK's punish game is a little bit more simplified means that he's a lot more refined and consistent with doing those couple of things.
Sure.
And that's why his Sheik is worse than his Donkey Kong.
Wow, really?
Yes.
You saying this as the winner of the doubles tournament really gives you a lot of credibility.
Thank you so much for saying that. No one had congratulated me yet.
Really?
Yeah, it's you team with the #1 player in the world, and suddenly it's not a good win to beat Professor Bean. You know, when I say it out loud, it kind of seems not that impressive.
But it was the fox off the mark, so you know,
it's true.
Really wasn't the best player.
I wasn't doing that great either. I was doing all right.
I saw those up airs in the grand finals. In any case, I think that Malachi's strength and also Malachi's weakness is the straightforwardness with which he plays his neutral mix-up, right? Like, it's very clear.
What he wants.
Enjoys the down smash.
Yes.
When you start avoiding the down smash by waiting, goes for the dash attack.
Yes.
Right? And then has like these little small parts of mix-ups. Malachi probably, like, I've heard people when you ask them about their strategy, they're like, oh, I just try to hit him. I think that's probably what Malachi would tell you he was trying to do. But, you know, it's more complicated than that when you break it down, or else everyone would try to do that.
Oh, that was a stage.
But
yes. I agree, and I also believe that it's a little bit tough for Malachi to then also pull upsets. Because, like, besides Ginger.
I think, well, sometimes, because Malachi is really good at what he does, and it's not that common anymore. Like, this is an old-style Peach brought to the modern day, right?
I guess you're right.
Junebug feels like a bad player matchup to me. Junebug was like,
yes, that's what I was
like, oh, I see your straightforward mix-ups, and I cannot interact with the one where I lose, and then interact with the one where I win most of the time. Like, he's good at that kind of stuff.
Correct. I completely agree. I think June will beat Malachi with most characters because it's the player matchup.
I see.
Yes, and so I think once you start beating Malachi, it's really, really tough for him to pull the upset on you. So, like, you know, some people have criticized him for, like, being figured out, or, like, you know, a part of the meme is also that he does way worse in MDVA than he does at majors, you know, because people are used to his tempo and the things that he's got in the bag. Yeah. Ooh, wow. And so I think it's a really tough draw for Malachi here. Although the thing that he does have going for him is the matchup. It's a tough one.
Yeah, I mean, it's allegedly tough. It looks like you can equalize it with a little bit of, I mean, raw power of Donkey Kong.
Insisting.
Right? Like Peach dies early. Like sometimes it's like, oh, that's a big head shake. Sometimes like foxes are frustrated. You can't really up throw a bear Peach. Donkey Kong can, and it works at like
Actually,
90.
yeah. Actually, yeah. Oh, that's really, really very good.
That's an amazing trade.
That is like the textbook good trade.
Gets the full giant punch. Is like you can't make it. Waits there. Yeah.
Yeah, that is actually very hard.
The repeated Peach Bomber?
Yes.
Yeah, you have to get
didn't
the smash
know.
input over and over.
I did not know that until like maybe like a year ago, that the Peach Bomber is actually very hard. Because it's sort of like, ooh, big punch.
And he claps him.
Dude, that's player matchup. He just did a fully charged punch and a forward smash. That's Reed's.
He reached the air dodge too. That wasn't even something that was done before. You know, that was like the first time the air dodge came out. I guess it was just like, I remember reading an article on Smashboards.
Oh! Sorry.
Punches him. It's okay.
That was involuntary.
I remember reading an article.
He just hard read him like 5 times in a row!
Yes, and I'm about to explain why I think that's possible.
Okay, you read this article on Smashboards.
I think it was a PP thing. I think it was PP, probably lurking. Hey. Where he talks about how, it's Kirby Kaze, I think, how most players, especially ones who have a more straightforward style, you present them problems, they present you answers, and once they see that their answer doesn't work, they move on to the next one very quickly. So the style of read that you can have isn't like, the most common style of read, right, is like, oh, this person just does this.
You did this, and you will continue to do that.
That's the second, and Malachi's one of those. Malachi's really good at cycling the options. But you know, part of randomness is sometimes doing the same thing twice in a row, even if it didn't work last time.
Yes, what people actually don't know about like a real random...
Taunt. See that taunt? That taunt kind of hurt me. That's...
Real randomness, people are always surprised by how streaky it is.
Yeah.
Like, people are generally very hard-pressed to actually come up with something that appears random.
Yeah.
Because we like to spread the variety. We think it's random, so therefore, like, all of the things will sort of show up with, like, equal frequency is what random means, right? And so, like, what you're saying is that that what is clear about Malachi, at least for June, potentially, is that if he gets beat once, June knows that Malachi, especially in a high, like, it's highly visible, that read.
Yeah, and I think that part of the reason it's like highly visible all the time, because Malachi plays such a straightforward, like, cycling of a few options, right?
Yes.
And so that means, like Malachi's obviously like, oh, this one of my, 4 or 5 things I do here didn't work. The logical thing to do next is this thing that beats the thing they did.
Yes.
And Junebug's like, obviously at a level with just about any character, like you said, where he can understand something that will beat the next option. So it's going 2 layers deeper immediately as opposed to waiting. Yeah.
And when I say highly visible, when I say highly visible read, I mean that, like, there are sometimes you get a read where it's not very clear. I guess this is what people call a hard read, right? Is like, obviously June knew that Malachi was going to drift at a certain point or like at a certain timing because he neutral B punched or he charged down smash.
Yeah.
That one is an undeniable, I just got red. And so, like, Malachi seeing that so clearly makes it very much on the table that June just outplayed. June just R'd Malachi's S? Rocked his sisters. I should.
Wow. Yeah, that could have been. Yes. Okay. Nice. I am. Well, you're recovering. I am sort of snapped back to the present very suddenly. I will tell you why. It's not because of what. It's partially because of what you said.
Keep going.
But also largely because Malachi's winning this game. Just the way the percent's lining up.
That's right. And I think that's where the taunt came from. Is Malachi is more down to camp out June, and June is a big proponent, I think, particularly like in advice to others. Be patient, find your opportunities and moments. It's not worth it to force things, and so it's being turned on him right now.
Yeah, I mean, the simple change, like we talked about how Malachi can make very like obvious adjustments. Usually it's at a micro level. That's the thing that Malachi's really good at, right? In this spot, this worked last time, this didn't work last time. This time it was a really obvious macro adjustment. A lot more turn-ups in the first minute than we saw the entire rest of the set.
Absolutely, absolutely. And June, like, saw that as a very clear message as well, and I think that's where the taunt came from.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little mental warfare. Oh, hunched.
And is Malachi arriving unarmed? I'm joking.
Arriving unarmed.
At a battle of the wits.
At a battle of the wits.
And he's arriving unarmed.
I'm not following.
In a battle of the minds. If someone is unarmed, it means they don't have a brain.
Whoa!
I think you didn't get it because you didn't expect me to be so mean to my friend Malachi.
I didn't, actually, yeah.
Yeah, it was shocking.
I'm still shocked.
Malachi has beat me. By the way, Malachi, I lose to Malachi every time.
I thought Dawson was your enemy. Apparently it's Malachi.
Like
a rival of sorts? Like someone you want to overcome?
Yeah, there's rivals, there's nemesis, there's foes, there's arch rivals, which is huge, right? There's some people who are like, oh, I have like multiple arch rivals. No, that to kind of defeats the point. You need like a worst enemy.
What if you're your own worst enemy?
Oh, it's so often the case. I'm learning a lot about simplifying my emotional needs. Because sometimes I get in my own way.
Oh, that's a shame. The forward air is a shame, yeah. Because you probably wants, float forward air to contest whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, well, 3-0.
Yep. You were smart not to bet.
Yeah. I mean, so I was being a contrarian for the sake of the viewing audience.
Dynamics are key.
Junebug's really good.
He's still in. Fun fact for the folks at home, Junebug is supposed to be casting here right now. Yeah. But he's actually the number 1 seed, right? I believe he is.
Yeah, the way that it shook out, yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Aklo and Hax were not able to make it. Zane played Ices, which is a secret weapon that he's been working on.
It can't be